Story number 17, God's Covenant with David. Saul was the first king of Israel. He was tall and handsome, just like the people wanted. Saul was a good king for the first few years that he ruled over Israel, but then he became a wicked man who did not obey God. So God chose a different man who would one day be king in his place. God chose a young Israelite named David to be king after Saul. David was a shepherd from the town of Bethlehem. At different times, while he was watching his father's sheep, David had killed both a lion and a bear that had attacked the sheep. David was a humble and righteous man who trusted and obeyed God. David became a great soldier and leader. When David was still a young man, he fought against a giant named Goliath. Goliath was a trained soldier, very strong, and almost 3 meters tall. But God helped David kill Goliath and save Israel. After that, David won many victories over Israel's enemies, for which the people praised him. Saul became jealous of the people's love for David. Saul tried many times to kill him, so David hid from Saul. One day Saul was looking for David so he could kill him. Saul went into the same cave where David was hiding from Saul, but Saul did not see him. David was now very close to Saul and could have killed him, but he did not. Instead, David cut off a piece of Saul's clothes to prove to Saul that he would not kill him in order to become king. Eventually, Saul died in battle, and David became king of Israel. He was a good king, and the people loved him. God blessed David and made him successful. David fought many battles, and God helped him defeat Israel's enemies. David conquered Jerusalem and made it his capital city. During David's reign, Israel became powerful and wealthy. David wanted to build a temple where all the Israelites could worship God and offer him sacrifices. For about 400 years, the people had been worshiping God and offering sacrifices to him at the tent of meeting that Moses had built. But God sent the prophet Nathan to David with this message: "Because you are a man of war, you will not build this temple for me. Your son will build it. But I will bless you greatly. One of your descendants will rule as king over my people forever." The only descendant of David who could rule forever was the Messiah. The Messiah was God's chosen one, who would save the people of the world from their sin. When David heard these words, he immediately thanked and praised God because he had promised David this great honor and many blessings. David did not know when God would do these things, but as it happened, the Israelites would have to wait a long time before the Messiah came. Almost 1,000 years. David ruled with justice and faithfulness for many years, and God blessed him.